Welcome back, guys. So today I'm going to play around a little bit with some resin. I have some projects on the horizon. I kind of want to build a table that's got some wood pieces in there. Got some other stuff. I'm wanting to explore the idea. I don't know how resin really works out. I don't know how smooth, like if I use it to fill in some cracks and stuff, if I can get a smooth surface. That's kind of my long-term goal. And I figured, you know what, I'm just going to do a little craft project, just a simple thing with resin, and just kind of learn a little bit about it, learn how it turns out, how much sanding I need to do, all that good stuff. So I bought this glaze coat. I think I bought it from Walmart. It's just a real basic resin kit. Super simple instructions. It's mix the parts 1-to-1. It says for whatever reason, so you know, I've got these little plastic cups here. I'm going to put the same amount in each. It says to use the hardener and pour it into the resin. Doesn't say vice versa. It specifically says that. So I'm going to do that, mix it for 6 minutes. Then take that mixture and pour it into a new container and mix it for 6 more minutes. And then so the instructions are real simple on how to do this. It warns you not to use any mechanical forms of mixture, because this actually is going to get hot while you mix it up, and it says it'll get too hot. It says you'll have bubble issues. So I just got a little random piece of stick of random, you know, scrap wood that I'm going to use. And like I said, we're just doing a little craft thing just to kind of learn about resin today, because I don't know how this is going to turn out or how easy or hard it is to work with. I actually grabbed this from Walmart. You've probably seen it there. It's clearance. It's $4. You know, just I figured that'd be a good thing to fill in, and I may even try to put some over the top of it and see how that works out. I've got some, and I've kind of found varying things about dyeing it. So this is like a powder dye, and these ones here are liquid dyes. So I'm gonna try dyeing some of it after the fact, and maybe taking a small stick or something and just try to swirl it. Literally don't know how this is gonna work out. Found a leaf. I'm gonna stick that in the middle. Just, you know, like I said, we're literally just we're playing around here. So let's jump right in, I guess. So like I said, 1-to-1 on these parts. And also only mix what you can use at that time, because it's going to be no good after you're done. Probably mixing more than I need to here. I'm going right to that bottom line on these little plastic cups, just because it's a good little marker so I can see what I got going on. Stuff kind of stinks. Probably should be wearing eye protection and a mask. My garage door is open, so it's a ventilated, basically outdoor space. So I'm not too worried about it. Alright, so the hardener has a little bit of a tint to it. A little darker, so you can kind of tell. Like I said, it says to pour the hardener into the resin. So we're going to go ahead and do that. It also warns you when mixing it, or it also cautions you to scrape the sides, not just let your sides sit. All right. And we're going to do this for 6 minutes. I'll get back with you guys in about 6 minutes. Okay, so now it's been 6 minutes of stirring this. I don't know if that's picking up or not, but my experience, I've got a ton of little tiny air bubbles in there. I do not know if these will settle, go away, or whatnot. But the instructions say after 6 minutes to pour into a completely new cup. Maybe the air bubbles, maybe this is part of it. Sorry, I'm not doing it where you guys can see what's going on. Alright, and now I'm going to continue for 6 more minutes. I would venture to guess, the instructions don't say anything about dyes, but I'd venture to guess that now may be a good time, like the one that is a the dyes that are powder. I would guess that now might be a good time to mix those in there. All right, guys, I've been mixing now almost for 6 more minutes. If you can see in here, we have hundreds of little tiny bubbles now. It's very frosty and like gray, cloudy. So again, I don't know. I don't have experience with this, so I don't know if this is how it's supposed to be or not. Or that's why we're trying this out. If you could see, I also don't know. I was just looking at this little thing I'm using that it was bought from Walmart, and I'm thinking if this is liquid, it's just going to run right off the edges. So I just put a little wall of duct tape and taped as tight as I could to the, the piece of wood, and we're just hoping that that'll hold. Really don't know if it will or not. I don't know if the resin will leak right through it. We're about to find out. It's now been 6 more minutes of mixing. So I'm gonna pour this on. I'm gonna pour it right on the leaf. I'm gonna start with that and just try to fill in this area. Spread it out kind of evenly. Probably let it slow down because I probably poured a little too much too quick. Obviously my table is not, I don't think it's that my table's not level. I think that this piece of cardboard I was using is not very level. So maybe I'll take it off of that cardboard here in a moment. Let me see if I can do that. Or at least use something to weigh it down. As you see, lots and lots of air bubbles in here. Again, I'm hoping those go away. I'm kind of trying to spread this out. I believe if I remember right, it also said on the instructions not to make layer more than 1/8 of an inch at a time. And if you remember, I was going to try and intentionally run it over the wood, not just this spot in the middle here, because I kind of wanted to see if it will give me like a nice coating on the wood, almost like a varnish. I use polyurethane and stuff a lot, but those go on pretty thin. I'm looking for something that's a nice thick self-leveling. I don't know if that's what this is or not. That's why we're going to try it out. Alright, I want this to sit kind of level, but I don't want to mess with my tape. I really want to take, we're going to try to take this off, guys. It was super smooth, and then I kind of moved everything around, and now it seems like there's some bubbles in there. That might be my fault. I think I read something in a paraphrase that basically said don't jack with it too much because then you get a bunch of air bubbles. So that's probably what I did. But now I'm going to use this small little flat tip screwdriver. This may have been intended to be mixed in while we're still mixing. what I'm gonna try next is the liquid, the little dyes. So I'm just kind of playing around there. That's just kind of whatever, fun and unique. Try a couple different things. Whoops. These got droppers, but apparently they need cut. They need the tip of them cut on them. So I actually thought the liquids would be easier to work with than the powder, and I don't think that's the case. Let me take this red, shake it up. I'm gonna cut that tip. Ah, that was too much. I'm gonna leave those and just see what happens when they're just dropped on. You can already see they're kind of running out, and almost like, I don't know, something you'd see on a microscope. Okay guys, I've been playing around and goofing off with this. I know it's not, some amazing work of art, but the idea is more about seeing how it turns out and what we got going on here. So we're gonna leave it alone. We'll come back to it. Let me look real quick. It says to not overspread it as it sets up, otherwise it'll not self-level. So I'm probably at a point where I should stop screwing with it anyways. It says surface bubbles need to be removed, must be removed when it's still wet. So I see a couple over here. So and if we comment, as we poured this, we had a ton of bubbles in there, and you notice there's very few now. One or two more there, but it is starting to get a little hard. 70-degree room temperature, dust free, 8 hours is how long it says. For 1 to 2 coats, period between each additional coat, 4 to 5 hours. Full cure, 72 hours. So this isn't fully done for 3 days. If I wanted to do another coat, which if you're doing something like a table and you're putting stuff in it like that leaf, I mean, it's that leaf, if you guys could see, is actually up and above the resin right now. I'm not gonna mess with this anymore, but I think you would definitely want to do a second coat. So in about 5 hours I could come back. It was a 1-to-1 mixture, super easy. You just mix it basically for 12 minutes, 6 minutes in one container and then 6 in another. And then I could pour another coat on, and I bet at that point it'd sit on top of that and it would really get that leaf inside there. We'll come back and check this out probably later on tonight. Okay guys, so I wanted to step out here just for a quick moment. It's been about 36 hours since I left the resin, and I wanted to see what we had going on here. So a couple of immediate observations are that the liquid drops, they ooh, and that's still wet. They didn't really work at all. That's not seeming to work out. The powder dyes, or whatever you want to call them, that's working a lot better. Kind of a cool look. To the touch, and it says it takes 72 hours for this stuff to cure. It's getting pretty hard now, but I feel like you could poke it. It is pretty smooth. There's a couple spots like along here, and that's probably because it was the edges and it probably ran off. It's a little rough, maybe like one piece of sandpaper. Actually, since I would be doing at least a second coat, I probably wouldn't touch any sandpaper yet. I don't think anything here, like it might fill in some of the gaps and stuff, so I don't think I would even sand it, but it is rather smooth. That's almost even. It did kind of run off, it looked like, a little bit. So I learned a little bit about the dye. It definitely, absolutely is needing to take every minute of that time it says it takes to cure. But it is also, like I said, It feels like what I was expecting it to feel. It's thick. I mean, it feels like resin. I don't know how to describe it. It's coated over it. It doesn't feel like wood anymore. It's not like when you put a thin layer of polyurethane on. Like it's, other than right here, almost feels like you're touching like glass. I don't know. So that's where we're at right now. I'm gonna do one more coat off camera. There's no reason for you guys to watch me stirring up things and whatnot, like sitting around for no reason. But yeah, we'll see where we end up with this. Okay guys, so I'm done with my resin exploration, my resin experiment. It's been 4 days, I believe, since I did this, and I learned a few things. One, so I do have some resin, like a lip there, which I mean, that could be sanded off, no big deal. But it is hard, and if you get it to the right layer, you know, you do enough layers or whatever, it can be smooth right here where I guess this is where it pooled to. It is smooth across, so I can definitely use resin, and as long as I have a surface, it's not going to seep through underneath. But if I use like wood or something and like several pieces, I could possibly do a resin surface. It's kind of a unique, it almost feels like glass, you know, or a rubbery glass, if that makes any sense at all. The leaf in there worked out pretty good. Definitely learned about the dyes. The liquid stuff doesn't work out very well at all, but you can kind of get a cool look with the powder. And also just using resin by itself. I've learned it's definitely, for what I'm thinking about using it for, probably going to take me several layers. It'll probably take me a week, 2 weeks, you know, first layer dry, second layer dry, so on and so forth. But yeah, it was really easy. That's another thing I learned, is it's just way easier than I thought it was going to be. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. Basically, you mix it for 6 minutes, you pour it in a new cup, you mix it for 6 more minutes, and then you pour it on and you smooth it out. So pretty easy. I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty excited to try and use resin for a real project and not just goofing around right here with this little thing. So that's going to do it for the resin experiment. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.